Hello everyone, my name is Stephen Murray and welcome to The Gift of Giving. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, this program focuses on the foundations, non-profits and 501c3s here in the state of Nevada. These are the people, the heroes who are making a difference in our state. They're working in the trenches every day, making our world brighter and better. And today's guests are no exception. We are welcoming from Dementia Friendly of Nevada. We are welcoming Nancy Nelson and Chuck McClatchy. Thank you for both being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And sharing all your knowledge on Dementia Friendly. And what a worthwhile organization it is. Chuck, let's start with you. Could you please give us a brief overview of Dementia Friendly Nevada?
Dementia Friendly Nevada has people, working towards making life easier for people living with dementia. And we're kind of an odd state because we have, some small, very populated places, but then we have, probably 75% rural. Mm-hmm. So there has to be different programs. And what Dementia Friendly Nevada does, it brings people from all of those different locations together to be able to work together. We have ones from the tribes, we have rural, and we all work together for the betterment of everybody. Because what works in the rural may not work in the urban. What works in the urban may not work in the rural. So it has to be open for, be able to pick this out and pick that up, what you want. And a lot of these people that work with Dementia Friendly Nevada are AARP, the Alzheimer's Association. We have people living with dementia that are on the group. We have directors of care facilities that are on the group. We have a few politicians that are on the group, and also just everybody working towards the same goal, just in different ways. Yes. And we meet about once a month for an hour and about 2 hours, and we have kind of an agenda, and it goes over little certain things to remind people of it, and to give everybody a chance to bring things up they want to talk about. Well, will this work here? So it's they really work hard, to get that.
It sounds like, and it all sounds very, very positive, and your website exudes that.
Yes.
That positive attitude, and the nice thing is too, there is Dementia Friendly America, and there's Dementia Friendly Nevada, and I know you communicate with Dementia Friendly America, but you're your own 501c3 with your own policies and way of dealing with things, which is good.
Yes, because every state would be unique.
Yes, and Nevada's certainly unique.
Yes.
Aren't we though?
Yes. Now, dementia covers, it's an umbrella name for a slew of different conditions. Nancy, how long ago is it that you were first diagnosed with your form of dementia?
I was first diagnosed in 2013, so 10 years, 11 years. And then re-diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment 3 or 4 years later from that. And I have been volunteering and helping pass the word along that this really is something that we can live through. Doesn't appear that in the beginning, but you can. And yes. So Dementia Friendly Nevada is just really a fine organization with such high quality and standards for all people, for people like myself who, need help sometimes. They're there.
Yes.
That's
well,
right.
You're living proof that 11 years,
yes.
and you're still
I'm
going
still
about
here.
your daily.
Yes, you are.
You're still here, and you're going
here.
about your daily life. And
Yes.
How about you, Chuck? How long is it since you were diagnosed?
In July, it'll be 10 years.
Oh my! So also a long time.
Yes, and I was diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's.
As was I.
Okay.
And I remember reading. We went home and looked it up because I didn't even really know what it was, and so it said my life expectancy was 2 to 4 years.
Wow.
So I kind of exceeded
10
that.
years. Yes. Good for you. 10 years. You're both living proof that changing lifestyles or doing certain things, and you're both very active in Dementia Friendly.
Yes.
You both have podcasts, which we're going to talk about later in the program. You both participate in the book,
Book.
Dementia Self-Management
Yeah.
Guidebook. We're going to be
Yes.
talking about that later in the program too. You're both involved. So you're both continuing to lead very active lives, and it's like you're excellent ambassadors for Dementia Friendly, because that's what they're trying to do. Let everybody know you can
But hey,
go on and live a perfectly normal life. I'd like to watch a little video that you brought along. It's called A Comma, Not a Period. A very interesting message, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on the message after we watch it. Let's turn around and watch it now.
I choose to see this diagnosis of mine as a new beginning. A comma, not a period. Things may not be the same. They were never meant to. Life is punctuated by change, written by choice. I choose to see this story of mine as a new chapter. There are more pages to turn.
Okay. I thought that was a very interesting perspective.
Yes.
Please let us know what you thought, Nancy, first, of the gentleman's perspective. Would you agree with it?
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I love the name,
Uh-huh.
right? A comma just indicates that it's going to go
It's a
on.
pause.
And when you receive the message, you've got early onset Alzheimer's. You think you can handle it. My dad passed in 2002 from Alzheimer's. So somewhere along the line in the back, I expected something. But when they say it to you, it's different. Did you find that?
Very much so.
And
Yes.
so it suddenly,
Yeah.
and this is just exemplifies what we want, the message that we want to send
Yes.
is, hey guys, it's not the best message in the world that you get, but we can work with it.
Yeah. And
I think so too, that you have to have the attitude of, too many people get, well, I can't do this, I can't do this, I don't want to do that, I just don't want to do anything. And that's not what we need to do. We need to stay active. We need to have that, instead of saying, well, I can't do this, we need to have that, well, you know something, I want to do this, how can I do this?
yes.
You
Find
may
solutions.
not do in the same
It
way.
may not be in the same way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You may not be the
right.
same, but you still get to do it. I play golf. I used to play golf a lot different, and I almost gave it up. But now I go out and I play, and you're in the sunshine, you're with friends, you're laughing and
Yes.
joking, and just enjoying life.
Right.
And I think that's what people really need to understand when you get a diagnosis, a terminal diagnosis is what they call it, of dementia. Your life's not over.
No.
Your life has a long way to go. I checked my foot. There's not an expiration date on it. There's not one. I checked.
Not best used by.
Nope, not even used by. But you have to have that. And we both believe that humor and being able to laugh at yourself when you do things.
That's the deal.
I did what?
I know.
And
And
when you-
admit that you've made a mistake. Gosh, you know how, I did, I guess I did do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems, just listening to you, as I said before, you both got very positive attitudes. And I think it's that positive attitude that's at the very heart of Dementia Friendly Nevada as an organization. I'd like to share that, and I'm sure you're familiar with them all, the values that Dementia Friendly Nevada espouses. And I'd just like to get your reactions to them. The first one, we'll start with you, Nancy. The very first point they make is people can live well with dementia.
Yes, absolutely. And it might not be the way that you would do it 2 years ago, but it is a way. I call them the workarounds. When I read a book, I have to write down page number and the bullet point that I want from that page, because when I turn that page, it's gone. So I want to be able to look at that yellow line tablet that says to me, oh, okay, it's just a workaround, and they're there.
Well, as we all get older, we all come up with workarounds.
It could be
getting
just
out of
aging.
bed in the morning isn't the same as when we were 21 either. So,
It is absolutely true.
okay. Chuck, the next one they have is partnering with people living with dementia and honoring each individual's life experience opens a world of possibilities. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I do. I think we need to have people living with dementia in the public spotlight, showing people that you can live with this. I remember the feeling that I had when I was first diagnosed, like I was the only person in the world that had this. And it wasn't until I went to a support group and saw other people there that had, at that time, I'd been living with for 5, 6, 7 years. And in my mind, it was finally, well, okay, maybe I won't be in a mental institution in 6 months. And it really changes you to see other people out there, and we want them to see us and say, well, if they can do it, there's nothing special about Nancy or I. We just choose to have a positive attitude.
Yes.
And that's what Dementia Friendly Nevada does. It empowers us. We couldn't do this by ourselves, but they empower us
Yes.
to be spokespersons, to be involved. Nothing about us without us is a good way to explain Dementia Friendly Nevada.
And we're like everybody else. When we start making mistakes, then it chinks our armor a little bit, and pretty soon they stack on one another. So we begin to feel, wow, maybe I shouldn't commit to that. Maybe I shouldn't say yes because I might forget and get the wrong time and do all of those things, which I do. Yeah, And so you just have to work through it and apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Right.
Well, I think most people give latitudes, as far as those things go. When supporting a person with dementia, we should always try and see the world from their perspective. That's another one of the points on Dementia Friendly Nevada's
Yes.
site.
That's
How important is that?
Oh,
That's
my
key.
goodness, that's key. And what is the moccasin story?
If
You have to
walked
walk
in
in.
their moccasins, yes.
Yes. So it is. If you haven't experienced it yourself, you don't get the hesitation. You don't get that someone wants to say it, but the words don't come. You don't get that they're feeling embarrassed or they've just made an error or they've, And so the people that can tell them that are people like Chuck and me, because we know what that feels like.
Yes.
And if you don't know, it's not your fault. I always say, listen, they didn't know. It isn't their fault. They
No.
just didn't know.
No.
So it's really important.
Yeah.
On that too, what I've done, and I talked about humor earlier, I named my disease.
He did.
My disease is called Chucky. Now, I can't control what Chucky does because he's going to do what he
He
does.
has said that
But
all along.
I can control how I react to it.
Yes.
And it's not, I'm beating myself up. It's like, okay, Chucky did it.
Yeah, that's fun.
And it takes the pressure off of the person because we don't do these things intentionally.
Of course not.
It's what's happening to us.
Yes.
And to be able to take and put that on something else and not take it personal when you do that, I think is a really, really big step.
I think on that light and humorous note, let's take a little brief sponsorship break and we'll be right back. And I hope you'll join us in a few moments when we come back. In the meantime, I'd like you to listen to a word from our very gracious and generous sponsors, the Firelight Barn Dinner Theatre and Pacific Coast Capital.
Country roads take me home to the place where I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Comes a triple yodel, I-de-yodel-ay, the-little-dee-oh, oh-oh-wee.
Introducing Pacific Coast Capital, your partner in finance. We provide financing for your business. Speed, flexibility, and creativity are the foundation of our service. We'll help you navigate through change and opportunities. Our 90-plus years of experience ensures quick turnaround on loan decisions. Ride the wave to prosperity with us. Ready for new funding? Visit our website today at pacificcoastcap.com.
Okay, welcome back everyone, and thank you again Nancy Nelson and Chuck McClatchy for being with us today and sharing your knowledge and experience of dementia-friendly Nevada. And we're just going to stay for a few more minutes with the points on Dementia-Friendly Nevada's website. And the next one, Chuck, is people living with dementia have the right to freedom and they can grow and thrive.
That is so important, because they have proven that if a person can stay in their house and has the right to, they live longer rather than going to a memory care unit. And I think even with the memory care units here in Nevada, people are placed in there sometimes. They don't have a choice. And I think that is wrong. I think we should have a say in everything that happens to us. And we should agree, or if we disagree, then find other means. We should always have that right. Because basically, when you put somebody in memory care, that's like putting them on death row. They know they'll never come out. And I think to keep somebody positive and be able to do things, they need to be comfortable, and they have a right to be comfortable and not be forced to go someplace that they really don't want to go. You know, unless there's, severe health reasons or severe safety reasons, then you get into a little bit different platform.
Sure.
But just under normal conditions, I think we deserve the right to say yes or no.
Yes.
And that's a touchy, until we don't know, right? Yeah.
A lot of thought went into these
Yes.
these points that
Yes.
Dementia-Friendly Nevada put out there.
One thing on that point, though, too, you have to have communication with your family, and they need to have communication with you, knowing what you would be satisfied with,
Yes.
to make us as comfortable as possible. There's so many people that really don't understand what maybe their father or their mother, what makes them happy. And I think you have to have that family communication with each other while we can, so that when the disease progresses, they know what you're comfortable with. They know what would be the easiest transition for you.
Yes, good point. Thanks for bringing that up. Then, the final one, dementia inclusive community is a stronger community. Elders need communities and communities need elders.
Boy, isn't
I
that...
thought that was a very interesting point to make.
Well, don't you think? As a person's world gets smaller, the community becomes more and more important, and especially a community that knows how you're feeling.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And we're all going to get older, and wouldn't it be wonderful if we recognized and worked towards an understanding? If you know, in my case, I was diagnosed early. That's a benefit. So if we prepare for getting older
Yes.
and having more fun and being free and happy,
Okay.
it's a good thing.
Okay, so now we've discussed a lot of what Dementia-Friendly Nevada does. We'd like to discuss your specific involvements here in Clark County with Dementia-Friendly Nevada. And there are two topics we'd like to talk about. One, you both have Zoom meetings, and the other one is, as we talked about earlier or just touched on, the Dementia Self-Management Guidebook. So let's talk about your Zoom meetings first. You both co-hosts, so firstly, I'll ask you the questions, Nancy, and then I'm going to ask the same questions of you, Chuck, afterwards. So you partner with Kat Hartley on your dementia conversations.
Yes.
Now, do you have general conversations, or is there a topic that you focus on each week? You pick a topic and talk about, or is it just a freewheeling conversation?
Well, it is rather freewheeling. We make the decision of the topic amongst the people that come on Friday afternoons from 1 to 2:30, every Friday from 1 to 2:30. And that stems from what is it that perhaps has happened to you this week? where are you at? If it's someone new and they're new to this, they want to ask questions or to tell about their life. It may take us in a different direction. So we don't have set, we go with the flow. But it isn't just random. We stick to a topic and we try to help the person that comes or the person that is asking the question. You know, we talk about you know, when it gets dark, and in some people's life that tweaks a certain behavior. If we talk about someone not recognizing dementia and it was embarrassing, and what can we do? How can we help that person?
Sure.
So it varies. We happen to have about 13 to 18 people that come. We recommend and certainly welcome everybody that wants to tune in to us. And we have 4 or 5 couples. So we have both the caregiver in some cases and the person with dementia together. And then some of us that are there alone.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, whether it's for caregivers or dementia.
No, we
people
have
with
them
dementia,
both
but
if you
have
choose
them both.
so.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you limit the number of attendees, or?
Well, we haven't had. We're very successful. We haven't had that problem. I don't know to whom we'd say no.
Yeah, well,
So come on in.
Nice answer. What do you get anybody from out of state that?
We have a lady now from Italy that
Oh.
is calling in. I
How
mean,
cool
we're
is
just
that?
enchanted. And we have another lady, and I forget where she's from, darn it. But yeah, so that's really interesting. And she comes back every week and says, "Oh," she said, "it's so good to be able to come to this meeting," and we love to hear that.
Absolutely. And now, how do people know about if it's a Zoom meeting? They've got to know the link. How do they find out the link? Do they email Dementia Friendly Nevada and get put on a mailing list? Is that how it works?
Well, you can do that, but you can go through Dementia Friendly through the DEAR program. You can go through Cleveland Clinic here locally.
Oh, okay.
Has a link onto it. What am I forgetting?
Because what you can do is you can go on the website, the Dementia Friendly website,
Yes.
and go into Dementia Conversations, and you actually register. And once they
Okay.
have your email address, then they will send you the link
Every week.
every week.
Okay. And is that so? Yours works the same way as Nancy's
Yes.
as it relates to that.
Yep.
And when it comes to your program, now when do you host your programs?
Ours is
Now
on
yours
Mondays.
is with Jennifer Carson,
Jennifer
who's
Carson.
the executive director
Yes.
of Dementia
Yes.
Friendly
Amazing,
Nevada.
amazing lady.
Amazing lady.
Yes, I would have to agree
Yes.
with you on that. So,
Yes, we meet Mondays from 10 to 11:30. And when we first started, it was just her and I, and we set aside an hour. Well, we kept getting into these really good conversations, so then we extended it to an hour and a half. And then we had so many people says, "Well, I can't do this day. Do you have another day?" So we got with Kat and Nancy and have one on Friday. And we have about the same 15 to 18 people every week. And we have a couple from Georgia. We have 2 gentlemen from Virginia. We have one from Maine. We have 2 ladies from Washington State. We have a gentleman in Oregon. And we run it basically the same way. When we come on, what would you like to talk about? And we have people that were just diagnosed. We have a lady that, while she was getting the diagnosis, she was on with us. And she had all kinds of questions. And we have other people that have, with different types of dementia. We have vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia,
yes.
those types. And we run it the same way. We don't know what we're going to talk about till we get there. But then when we start something, we rotate back and everybody has an input. And what's really nice, we wanted this in the beginning, a safe place. Well, I think we've succeeded because she can probably say the same. We call on people to give their opinion. And I have yet to say, have somebody say, "No, I don't want to talk." They feel secure enough with us that everybody has an input.
Yeah.
And we never say, "Well, you need to do this," or "You need to do that." We don't use those words. We use, what works for me? This is what happens with me, and this is what I do. We never preach to people, because if you've met one person with dementia, you've met one person with dementia. every person, even though we're on the same journey, every person is on a different path, and they need to find their own path.
Good points, all of them. Good points, and you certainly open the door, I think, for hopefully some viewers who are tuning in, they'll
Gosh,
be
we hope
interested
so.
in joining.
Yes.
When we come back in the third section, I'd like to talk about the Dementia Self-Management Guidebook that you are both involved in. But before we go there, I would just like to close out this segment by talking about some of the stuff that's going on in other parts of the state, because you're both very involved in Clark County. And I've got some notes here because there's so much going on in other places. First of all, for example, in Winnemucca, they have an annual walkathon to keep people active. They're focusing on the brain health, and they say that doing those walkathons really helps. So we have that going in Winnemucca. In Elko, they have a respite program. They have a Friends Day Out. People with dementia meet each other while allowing their partners to tend to other matters. So I think that's a very worthwhile program too, to give the caregivers a break. In Washoe County, they host a monthly open door cafe meeting where people can meet and discuss. So it's like a podcast, but it's in person. And it's nice that they have that. They've also partnered with the Ballroom of Reno, and they have a program, Dance With Me. So
That's
how
fun.
good, that's fun to have something like that. So that's going on in Washoe. And as you alluded to earlier, they have tribal resources in Pyramid Lake. They put together a PowerPoint presentation last year that's still available on Dementia Friendly Nevada. So there's all kinds of things going on in different parts of the state, and I'm just mentioning some of them. So don't feel it's all happening here in Clark County, folks.
There's also another that they do. They made up a video that's used by first responders, and it's used statewide as to if they run into people having a crisis that have dementia, and kind of, an overall view and what they can do to calm somebody down. And a lot of jurisdictions, it's required that the first responders go through it.
Wow. Amazing program. Nice thought. We're going to take another sponsorship break, and we'll be right back. Please stay with us.
Individual investors use IRAs and trust accounts. Employers use 401ks, 403bs, and corporate accounts. As a full-service financial institution, we at Lucia Capital Group help individuals and families as they work towards achieving their goals, whether it's managing your investments, implementing income and tax strategies, or managing risks towards enjoying a steady cash flow in retirement without the worry of the stock market volatility. Lucia Capital Group has a strategy for you. We also help employers manage employee benefits such as 401ks, 403bs, disability, life insurance, and so much more. Lucia Capital Group has served the Las Vegas area for more than 20 years. You should not let the volatility of the stock market determine your retirement future. I'm Joshua Dowdy. Whether you're an individual investor looking to manage your nest egg, or an employer looking to offer new benefits or manage an existing plan, we can help. Call me today for your free consultation. 702-508-6421. That's 702-508-6421.
Welcome back, everyone. And once again, I'd like to thank our guests, Nancy Nelson and Chuck McClatchy from Dementia Friendly Nevada. And I'd like to thank our last sponsor, Lucia Capital Group, Joshua Dowden. And I thank you, Joshua, for all the financial assistance you've given me over the years, certainly as it relates to my retirement. So this segment, I'd really like to talk about this Dementia Self-Management Guidebook. Now, there was only 6 people involved in collaborating on this book, and you were both 2 of the 6 people.
We were, but there were a lot of people in the background that were
behind the scenes, but
yes.
Very much so.
yes, well, there always is in terms of typesetting and
Otherwise
editing,
it wouldn't
and
be here.
no, the typesetting, the
Yeah.
editing, the printing,
Yes.
and all that. Yes, there's all kinds of people
And-
behind the
and
scenes.
people working on it,
But
yeah.
the actual discovering the journey part of it,
Yes.
you were 2 of the 6. Now, first of all, why did you both choose to get involved in this, or were you drafted?
That's a good way to put it, isn't it? Well, I would never say I was just drafted.
Okay.
So, I think we got to talk about it. And I think we've got to talk about it in a way that helps others. Because my joy in all of this, because I don't look at being diagnosed as a bad thing. I look at it as a blessing. And if I can help you, then I'm helping me. And so, yeah, I would never say no.
That's why you got involved.
Yes.
Not drafted.
Mine was basically the same thing. They
Yes.
they said there's an opportunity, and I said yes. and I think because the way that it's used, it is the first ever actual college course on dementia that was written by people living with dementia.
Wow. That's amazing that hasn't
Yes.
been done before.
And
Isn't it?
it's
It
thanks
truly
to
is.
Dr. Carson and
Yes,
her
bless
whole
her heart.
staff up there that just
Oh my gosh,
When-
that's what I say. They're wonderful.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
they do so
and
much.
being able to help people. I learned early that by helping people, it helps me more.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
I have
of
that
course it
sense of,
does.
I can help you go through something that I did, and it's not going to be as bad for you. Because when we were diagnosed, there weren't a lot of resources. You were just kind of left on your own.
You were
Yes.
just,
And the internet was dark.
Yes.
You would get nothing positive from the internet.
yeah.
And I know how I felt, and I know how I made my family feel by being so down. And I don't want other people to go through that. I want them to live their life, to enjoy, laugh, and joke, and kid, and be able to talk about, yes, I have dementia. So what? And
Wow.
just continue on.
Yes.
And once you say that, and this helps that, excuse me, sorry,
Water?
that when you can talk about it, you open up everybody else to ask you about it. Well, what were your symptoms that you had? And not just, oh, I'm so sorry. I don't want to hear that. If you want to ask me a question, go right ahead. I don't mind. I talk about it. And I think by opening up, and having a line of communication, which is what this book does, it just gets down to the brass tacks of what it is and gives you an idea of what to expect and gives you answers to be able to talk about with your family.
Okay. That's amazing. It's a wonderful answer you've given there, because it's absolutely true. People shouldn't be afraid to ask. Unfortunately, there's still a bit of a stigma with dementia. I
Yes.
think that's dissipating over time as people become more and more aware of it, and unfortunately, the numbers are growing. They're not diminishing.
No.
People with Alzheimer's
That's
or
right.
dementia or Lewy disease,
Right.
any of those conditions. So I think this tool here is absolutely invaluable. And just for your information to the viewers, this book is also available on the website. You can download it for free. There's a PDF version that you can download from the Dementia Friendly Nevada website, and that information will be put out here later on. Copies can also be purchased if you want the thick volume like this.
They're free, not purchased.
Apparently Jennifer Carson said if people wanted to make donations,
Oh,
Yes.
donations,
Help.
yes.
cover
yes,
the
yes,
cost of
absolutely.
printing these
Absolutely.
books.
Yes.
Sorry, you're absolutely right to correct me.
Well,
But she did say if there people can give
donations
donations
are wonderful.
to help
For sure.
get this printed, because as you can see, it's not a thin book. It's
No.
there's a lot to it. Now, did the six of you collaborate, or were you each interviewed with your own individual stories, and they took it and put it all together, or was it a series of discussions that you
Yes.
had and they picked out
Several, all of those.
all of the
Yeah,
above?
it wasn't like each one was put in a room and asked questions so that we wouldn't collaborate. It was, we do part this way, part that way, part together. They would ask questions and we'd all write down our answers and our version of what we might do in that situation. So it was, you felt very included in absolutely everything.
Yes.
Did you had the same
Yes,
feeling,
I did.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because we would meet and, okay, this is the section we're going to talk about. and they would have
Gotcha.
everything listed. Okay, here's what about this? How do you feel about this? And then everybody would have their chance. And then, okay, they would come back maybe the next time. Okay, out of everything that was said, this is kind of what we thought would be the most important to talk about. And then we would all talk about it again. So everybody had input on every section. Everything in there was, it wasn't just one person, saying, well, this is what it should be. It was all 6 of us that were working together.
Collaborating.
Wow.
Yeah.
And being empowered by.
Yes.
How long did it take you to put this together?
Gosh, it didn't seem like very long, really.
But I think it was. It
I
was like
think-
6 months or something.
That's what I was going to
Yeah,
say, 6 months.
About 6 months or so.
Well, that's pretty good for this size
It
book.
absolutely is.
And
yes.
I see you've got several tabs here, which
Yeah.
is obviously different sections and different topics.
Right.
Could you tell us what some of the topics are,
Well,
so that people can have an idea of what's
Sure.
involved in the book?
it begins with an introduction of the people that are involved, and it goes then to an overview of dementia. And what is dementia? The types of dementia, misconceptions, diagnosis.
The misconceptions could be a lot thicker.
It could be a lot thicker. Yeah, we did good on that, didn't we? Planning your health care. I mean, everybody's journey is so different.
Yes.
Right. And lifestyle. How are we going to live now? And it's a choice. It truly is a choice. Making sense of dementia. I always say, yes, we can make sense. Dissect it. Connecting with others is so important. Focusing on possibilities. Focusing on what can be and where we are and what is important.
I think it sounds like that's an extremely valuable tool for not only people with dementia, but for caregivers
Yes,
as
very much.
well.
Yes.
I think very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, volunteers. Are you still looking for volunteers
Yes.
in the organization?
Yes, yes.
Always.
Always.
Yes.
They
Looking
have,
for board members as well? What qualifications
Also
are you
representatives
looking
from,
for?
we want representatives from every county
Yes.
to have an input at the meetings, to be able to get assistance for whatever, their major topic is. Right now, I think we have most of the counties, but we need representatives from every county. We need representatives from Native Americans. We need representatives from people of color. Because I am on the bottom of the totem pole for Alzheimer's. I'm a white male. She's more prone to get it. People of color are a lot more prone to get it. And I think we need to be able to communicate with everybody to say, this is a dementia family. This is what can happen, and this is what you can do, and this is how you can help, and this is how you can help yourself. This is how you can help your family. And I think we need to keep working and doing exactly what, exactly that.
Well, sorry, Nancy, you were going to say something.
No, I was just going to say, it's all about discovering your journey.
Yes.
And it's all so different. And
Yes.
and it does start here. I mean, don't be afraid of it. Turn around and face the fear.
Well, and you're both talking about the can-do aspect.
Right.
And I'd like to close this program with another video
Yes.
that you share with us called What If?
Yes.
Let's turn around and watch this.
I think about what if, but focus on what is. What is good, is worth celebrating, is another part of our story. I know it's okay to ask for help when the heart becomes too big. I think back on the many days that you were there for me. What if, what is, whatever comes our way.
Well, that was a very powerful
Yes.
statement too. Would you like to have a closing comment on that particular video that we just watched?
Well, nobody wants a diagnosis, correct? I mean, we don't want to hear you have early onset Alzheimer's. But what we do want to know is that as we learn and as we take it on and digest it and chunk it out and be in a community like Dementia Friendly, where they can understand you, we make it easier for ourselves. And don't be afraid of it.
No.
Yeah.
Good-
We're
good
not
point.
making light of it. We're simply saying
Right.
there's another perception.
It is, and I think what I liked about both of those videos was the positive meaning of it. Because you have to keep positive with this. You're
Yes.
going to have days where things don't go right. So what do? You go to bed, you get up in the morning, and you start all over again.
Yes.
And I think that when people see more and more the positive side of living with dementia, and for us, there is a positive side. I lost a lot when I was diagnosed, but I've gained so much more
Yes.
since then. And I think when people understand that your life doesn't have to end, your life doesn't have to change a lot in the
No.
beginning.
Yes.
And it's always better for families to talk and be proactive than be reactive.
Active. No question. And you were talking about, I think there was a song, wasn't there? Dust yourself off, pick yourself up, and start all over again.
again.
Talking about
Yeah.
music, there is
Yeah.
a song along those.
Yes,
So,
there is.
Very much,
and
yes.
I think you're right on the positive, and as I said earlier, I think that's at the heart of Dementia Friendly Nevada. And in speaking with your wonderful executive director, Jennifer Carson, she says you're not Pollyannas.
No.
You know, you realize the difficulties, but you're facing them with a positive attitude
Yes.
as opposed to a defeatist attitude, and one can ask for no more than that.
Right.
So I'd like to thank you both for being
Thank
with
you
us
for having
today.
us. Yes.
Nancy Nelson and Chuck McClatchy from Dementia Friendly Nevada. And I thank the viewers for tuning in this week. I'd also like to thank John Stars, the show's producer and station owner.
Thank you.
Fully appreciate his allowing me to host this program. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Firelight Barn, Pacific Coast Capital, and Lucia Capital Group, and Ralph Champion, my business partner for the last 25 years. You'll hear his message right at the end of this program. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out to me at stephen@thegiftofgiving.vegas. And again, finally, I'd like to thank you, the viewer, for tuning in. I hope you will join us next week. In the meantime, have a great week ahead. Stay safe, be kind to one another, and be safe. Bye for now.
Bye for now.
I think I said that.
Thank you.
Mr. R.J. Champion is proud to sponsor WWDBTV's series, The Gift of Giving, and wishes the program much success. Congratulations and gratitude to the featured guests and the organizations they represent. Our community is well served by your tireless efforts to make Nevada a better state for all its residents.